another edition of the Biggest Loser interview series here on SportsTownChicago.com. WISC, Rick Camp here, and we've had the casting director of Biggest Loser on. We have contestants, we've had winners, and now definitely something special. We have someone who hopes to be on Biggest Loser. Everyone in the Chicago area knows him as Kenosha Brad. We have Brad Jewell with us. Brad, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here with you guys.
And, it's great to have you in, especially with what's happened with Q101. We won't even talk about that because that's a whole nother issue. But you want to be on the Biggest Loser, and it's being people at this station that have seen how great Biggest Loser is for everybody and what it does to the lives of everyone that's affected. Was it kind of a no-brainer that you want to maybe have your chance at changing your life?
Well, yeah, you know what? I think my life has gone through some serious changes over the past 2.5 years. My wife passed away with cancer about 9 months ago. I'm the only parent left. I have a son who's 18 who's going to college, and my daughter is 20 who's in the Army, and she just had a baby. So, I mean, I need to be there for my kids. So I think by going on this show, not only to get healthy and to be around for the next 40 or 50 years for myself and for my family is a great thing, but also to inspire the nation, because your life, you don't have to curl up underneath a rock and hide and mourn for the rest of your life. You got to take things step by step, and I think this is a good thing. I think it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And with everybody going to college and family and grandkids, $250,000 definitely wouldn't hurt either.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's the lower point to everything in the Biggest Loser. Changing everybody's, changing your life and how that affects everybody around you life is the big point with the Biggest Loser. But I guess who are some people previously with the Biggest Loser that you have seen and been like, I can relate to this person, and that really makes me, want to go for this even more?
Well, I've met Michael, and Michael's from the Chicagoland area, and I know he was a DJ, and he was pretty inspirational. I mean, he went in there, jumped in with 2 feet. I thought that that's exciting, because when you see somebody shed a lot of weight, the transformation's amazing, and as soon as you shed like 30 or 40 pounds, the bottom line is it's exciting, and all of a sudden you have kind of a new aura. It's going from 40 pounds to 100 pounds, and I think that that's what the Biggest Loser does. And I think that that's kind of where I'm shooting for. So I can always get to the 30 or 40 pound mark fairly easy. Mm-hmm. It's just after that becomes more difficult.
So was it you that had the initial thought for you to go on the Biggest Loser, try out for it, or was it a family member, friend, or just people that you know?
Well, actually, it was my extended family is everybody from Q101. So it was actually Tingle, Sherman, and JP and Lou that really encouraged me to move forward with this. So they said, hey, what do you got to lose? Professionally, I worked for Diversity Incorporated for almost 16 years, and they outsourced our jobs to Canada. So, which is fine. I mean, that's just part of business, and what it is. I mean, they're trying to make a lot of money, and unfortunately, they had to lay a bunch of people off, but they gave me a great severance and a great opportunity. So they're like, this all was happening around in May. So they're like, you got nothing better else to do. You might as well drop 200 pounds. so when I was thinking about it, I'm like, you're right. So let's give this, 100% effort. And I went through this process once, and I'm going to go through this process one more time. I'm excited about it. So they've been encouraging, and they've really been pushing me through it. Where initially, even where they got me a trainer who actually used to play for the Indianapolis Colts, and he played at Northwestern, Matt Ulrich. So he killed me for 2 solid weeks, and I was shedding weight like crazy. But when I made it to the first interview with the Biggest Loser back in February, I'm like, uh-oh, I can't drop all this weight, because I dropped like 18 pounds the first week. I'm like, and it was with very little effort. I'm like, I need to eat and get fat.
So you can stay qualified because they do have the weight requirements of, you have to. I think now for this season, for this casting call they're on for 13, it's something like 85 pounds minimum. Yeah, and that's, I'm sure, more for the women than the guys.
Yeah, I have 85 pounds to lose in my calf. Yes. so those guys have really pushed me forward. And then, obviously, I love my kids with all my heart, and so did my wife. And the bottom line is that, I need to be there for them. I mean, I'm the only parent. Now, I can't answer questions that my daughter needs to ask that my wife could answer. But, I can be there for her, and I need to be there for Allison, our grandchild, and obviously my son. So I think that that's the most important thing. So health is the key factor, and so is my family.
Now, I guess going away from the show for a minute, we're on a sports station here, sportstownchicago.com, and I was looking up on you, fantasy football guy.
Right. I mean, we had our draft. We had our draft Sunday.
I was just going to say, what kind of draft did you do? I mean, I know the league that we do with some of the people from here is a little off the map a little bit in the way we do it, but who are your guys and who are you looking for this season to be good?
Our fantasy draft went good, and my team went pretty much exactly like I thought it was going to. I drafted Arian Foster. I know he's got a hamstring injury, but the bottom line is he'll be there at the end of the season. So I have Steven Jackson and Maurice Jones-Drew.
Nice.
I drafted Peyton Manning. He fell all the way to the 5th round. And then Matt Ryan won in the 10th round. So, yeah.
How many teams?
8.
Okay.
So I have Jermichael Finley as my number 1 wide receiver. And I wanted to lock up, or tight end, and I wanted to lock up another one. So I locked up Tony Gonzalez. So wide receivers, I mean, I'm a little weak. I have Santana Moss, but I have Greg Jennings. So, I mean, I'm like okay there. So, I mean, these guys all know I think 3 of the teams are very strong. Yeah. And I'm telling you what, if Peyton Manning is healthy, because we have a dual flex where you can play 2 quarterbacks or you can play 3 running backs, Peyton Manning, Matt Ryan, and if Foster comes back and he's healthy, then I'm fine. But, I mean, if I would have took Jamal Charles or Ray Rice, I would have been perfect. So, love fantasy football. PPR league is where it's at. More importantly, every Sunday and Monday and Thursday during the season, you don't have to pay any attention to your family. That's the most important thing for fantasy football.
It's so true.
You can just totally ignore them and sit in your
computer screen in front of you. You have the ticker for your team going.
I have 3 TVs going. I'm in the man cave, and everything is good. So I love it. CBS Sportsline is my hero.
And I guess in general, away from fantasy, local teams around here, being in Wisconsin, I know there's a lot of Packers people around you. And you are a Bears fan, correct?
A Bears fan, but you got to respect what Green Bay has done.
Absolutely. So, I mean, how do you see the North playing out this season?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. I mean, Green Bay is young and loaded. And Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. I think they're still weak at running back, and Ryan Grant is still a question mark. Starks has been injured during camp. Jones has been injured. Their defense is phenomenal. If Jermichael Finley, I mean, he looks just like a young Sterling Sharp. I went and saw him, and actually I'm going to the game tomorrow night. Oh, cool. So they're going to be very good. They're going to be very tough to beat. Truthfully, Detroit's up and coming. I love the motors on Detroit's defense. I mean, if Matt Stafford stays healthy, they're probably going to give the Bears a run for the money. So, I don't think the Bears are in the picture of the playoffs this year. I'm not a big fan of Mike Martz. I don't think Roy Williams was the answer, and I think they're getting a little older, and there's too many questions with their offensive line. And they got to take care of their own. I mean, they should have paid Matt Forte the money that they needed to pay him. That's the bottom line. Let him come in clean. I just see too many question marks with that team. However, I think when everything is said and done, I think it's going to be Green Bay and Philly playing to go to the Super Bowl, and I think Philly's probably gonna get out there, and hopefully they'll beat the crap out of Tom Brady because he's just so good looking. Somebody has to.
With the Bears, I wish I could disagree with you, but I told people here if Detroit wasn't in our division, that's just a fun roster to keep an eye on with all the young guys. I mean, even though LaShore is out for the year and Fairley is he's out for a while, he's a great team to keep an eye on this season. Probably frustrating for us, and I thank you for coming on with me. But before I let you go, once again, Brad Jewell, more commonly known to everybody around here as Kenosha Brad. One thing, if you could say one thing to everybody out there as to why you want to be on The Biggest Loser, and if there was a way for people to vote you in or just to get your support behind you, why should you be on The Biggest Loser? Well,
here's the thing. The thing is that Chicago is my family. I mean, they adopted me, and I abuse Chicago all the time, but it is my favorite city in the entire world. I want to be on The Biggest Loser, not only to represent the greatest city in the whole world, but to make a difference and inspire a nation. That's really why I want to be on this show. And I think we can do that. And I think when you guys are sitting at the bar watching this show on a Tuesday night, I expect a toast, and it's got to be a Jaeger bomb because that's all we drink. And then you can reflect on your fantasy teams as we're going through this. But, I mean, really and truly, that's why I want to be on the show. And like I said, I love Chicago, minus the White Sox. but I want to make a difference, and I think I can, and I want my voice to be heard across the nation, because resiliency is what it's all about, and I don't care how tough their trainers will beat me up. There is nothing comparable than watching my wife pass away in front of me, and as tough as it was, I know she's not suffering right now, and that's the most important thing, and I think people can relate with that. So, and again, I mean, I need to be there for my children, and that's where I'm at with this.
You know, great story, and I will definitely all be rooting for you here, Brad. It's a pleasure having you on.
Thank you very much.
And you know, good luck with the process, and we definitely look to see you on Biggest Loser in the future.
Yeah, I'll give you all my clothes when I'm all done with this.
All right, fair enough.
You guys can use them as drapes in your room.
Well, if you sign one of them, we'll put it up. We'll have it in front of the blinds over here.
Before and after.
Hopefully keep it a little.
Keep it cool in here.
Have a little progression of a pyramid of clothes down here as you get smaller. There's a little memento here at SportsTownChicago.com. So for the Biggest Loser interview series here with Kenosha Brad, I'm Rick Camp.